Hello guys, good morning. Well, it's Monday morning and I figured I would bring you guys along for my day. Not that it's going to be anything too exciting, but I figured instead of just doing a morning, part, I would incorporate some of my lunch break and my evening commute too. So this will be a late upload this evening, but if I do it during the day, if I edit as I go through the day, then I'll be able to get it done just fine. This is, like I said, this is my week in the office, so there might be a little bit more of this type of content this week than there was last, but that's just how it goes sometimes. But I hope that you guys are good. Hopefully everyone's having a good start to their week. And yeah, right now I'm just sitting in traffic, which is just wonderful. But it should clear up here soon. I'm starting to get to that point in the summer. It's late August, it's almost Labor Day, and I'm starting to kind of get to that point where I'm starting to mourn the end of summer. It gets like that every year for me, where I feel a sadness that summer is coming to an end. And I hate it so much because I should just be happy. Like, why does the weather affect my happiness so much? I'll never understand, but it gets like that every single year. I think part of my late summer sadness also started back when I was in school, in grade school, because I always had so much anxiety based around back to school time and having to go through another year of school. So it could have also started back then. But as an adult, I know for a fact I have seasonal depression. No, it's not officially diagnosed, but I literally feel like a different person in the winter, and I have to say YouTube has helped me a lot with that, because it's given me something to do with my free time that I feel is really rewarding, and it gives me something to work on indoors when it's cold outside. YouTube has helped me in a lot of different ways with just overall productivity. I feel like my time is well spent, my free time. Obviously, spending time with my boyfriend and spending time with Axel and stuff, that's always been a constant way that I spend my free time. But just to be able to upload a video or talk to you guys is very rewarding for me. And so that has helped a lot with my seasonal depression. And I'll be honest, mine doesn't start as soon as it gets cold out. I know for a lot of people, it's like the second that there's cold air outside, it's this seasonal depression starts for them. It's not like that for me. For mine, it's more after the holidays. So once Christmas passes, and I don't even care about New Year's, it's like once Christmas is done, I start to get into that frame of mind of not being super happy. And I know a lot of you guys mentioned a happy light. I actually have one of those. hasn't really done wonders for me. I do use it sometimes, but it's just tough, when it gets dark before 5 o'clock and it's freezing cold outside. But I do think this year it will it will help me a lot because, obviously the last several years I was also at a job that I wasn't happy with. So having a job that I like will also be a big help. But, that's here nor there. I try to not complain a lot about it, but I know that a lot of you guys will relate to that, because I know that seasonal depression is so real, and it definitely is very normal for a lot of people, especially people who reside in areas that have all 4 seasons. It's like the summer feels so good, and then the winter comes and it's just miserable. I would never be able to live in an area like Alaska or Maine, anywhere in like New England, even New York. I would never be able to live up there just because of the long winters. I feel like in New York summer doesn't even start until like June, because I know for them, even in May, they can have days that are really mild, especially in the morning and at night. I ended up washing my hair last night, so I had to wake up extra early so that I had time to flat iron it this morning. So this week will be kind of a short week. We'll get off at noon on Friday because of the Labor Day weekend. So that'll be really nice. Friday will go by super quick. And I think Monday through Thursday will probably go by relatively fast as well. And then Monday we're off. And then next week I'll be home. That'll be my work from home week. So yeah, it'll be really nice. I'm glad that we get off at noon on Friday. I remember at my last company, we would get off at say we're supposed to get off at 5, they would close the office at 4. I'm like, what kind of BS is that? Even like a 2-hour early release, like typically companies will do half a day. Half a day means you leave at noon. Most people don't take a lunch that day because you're only there for a few hours. I don't know what kind of nonsense an hour or 2 hours early release is. I get it's better than nothing. Don't get me wrong, but I used to always laugh at that. Like, are we supposed to be super happy about this? It's an hour early. Have you guys been following this whole Ethan Klein, Trisha Paytas, Keemstar kind of clusterfuck that's been going on? I think a fair amount of my subscribers do not follow that kind of side of YouTube with the Keemstar and H3 stuff. But I was kind of going through my YouTube homepage and my subscriptions. I don't know why that word tongue ties me so much. But I saw so many videos of people giving their commentary on this whole H3, Trisha Paytas, Keemstar stuff. And I'm just like, I don't know. I guess I kind of feel the same way about that as I do Gabby Hanna. And I'm just tired. I'm not entertained by her nonsense. I'm not entertained by the commentary or the drama that surrounds her or Trisha Paytas or Keemstar or H3. It's just not. And I really feel the same way about James Charles as well. I will most likely not talk about James Charles again unless something new happens. But, I'm not here to take apart every little thing that James Charles says and try to figure out how it might be inappropriate. Like, if people are still going to support James Charles at this point, then A, they're either very young and they don't realize the repercussions of what he's done online and why it's wrong and why you probably shouldn't support him. Or B, they're adults that just have no moral code as far as who they give their social media currency to. Because as an adult, if you are still supporting someone like James Charles, then here's the thing. I don't really, personally, I've never been entertained by his content. I've never connected with his makeup style, his content, who he is. Like, I've never connected with any of that. So while I understand that he has a lot of subscribers, I also don't think that a lot of them are adults, and that's what I've talked about before. A lot of these really problematic influencers, it's extremely hard for a cancellation to happen because so many of these really popular influencers, their entire fan base is kids or teenagers. They're not, I'd love to see the analytics for someone like James Charles, because I'm pretty sure that 80% of his subscribers are younger than 17. Guaranteed. And if there are adults in there, it could be kids using their parents' YouTube login. I just don't understand, like, what would resonate with an adult when it comes to James Charles. Even his, let's think about his tutorials, okay? His tutorials alone, if you want to focus on only those, let's not think about all of the other stuff that he's done. If you want to talk about only his tutorials, those to me are not tutorials that I would go watch to try to figure out, okay, how do I do this technique, or how do I make my techniques better? Because isolated, his style of makeup is not something that a lot of adults wear. Most adults are going to go to someone like Wayne Goss or Pixie Woo. I know Pixie Woo's not making videos anymore, but their content is still very useful, even though they're not really making content anymore. Who's another one? Elle Leary Artistry, she's a great one. Even someone like Samantha Ravindal, you know, I'm gonna go, or like Jackie Aina, I'm gonna go to someone like that because that is a style of makeup that most adults would want to know how to recreate. So I don't know, I just find it kind of interesting, his fan base and all that kind of stuff. It's got to be mostly kids. I'll tell you, if a lot of other YouTubers had accusations like that come out against them, there is no way that they would still have a platform to stand on. Talking about a normal YouTuber with a, you know, demographic of, call it 20 to 50-year-olds, there's no way. There is just no way. So I got this new makeup bag. I ordered it online because I needed a new one. This is neoprene camo, and it has these stripes on the front, hot pink and red. I really like it so far. I love neoprene fabric. especially for like little pouches and stuff like that. I just find it's easy to care for. It doesn't get super beat up or anything like that. And I really like that one. I'll link, or I'll show a picture or something of it, because they had them in a bunch of different colors too. And it came with a little wristlet, so if you wanted to use it as a, you know, little handbag to use at night or whatever. Oh, I realized yesterday, not that it matters, but I realized in my video yesterday when I was discussing my nose piercing, the jewelry that I got that was causing me an issue, I said stainless steel. I meant to say surgical steel that was plated with 14 karat gold. I didn't mean plated stainless steel. I didn't even catch that I said it, but one of you guys was like, I think you meant surgical steel. And I was like, yeah, I did. You're right. I don't even know if they sell plated stainless steel for body jewelry. I feel like that would be hazardous, but I ended up cleaning up so much yesterday. Those bins that I got from Target, I ended up putting 2 of them in our bedroom bookshelf and clearing out a lot of the junk, and so now we just have a bin there, so it looks really clean. I took the 2 gray ones that I got and put those in our living room bookshelf, so everything looks much more clean than it did before. What we had before in the bedroom was kind of like this plastic 3-drawer kind of thing that we would keep papers and stuff in. Charging cables, phone screen protectors. I mean, we had iPhone boxes for iPhones that we haven't had in 3 years. So I ended up throwing a lot of this stuff away and organizing it. It actually felt really good to get rid of a lot of the junk that we didn't need. But anyway, guys, I'm going to continue to make my way to work, and I will check in with you at lunch. So I will see you in just a sec. Hello, guys. It's lunchtime. I am back, and I actually ate lunch at my desk quickly. So I figured we could go over to Anthropologie during my lunch and see what they have. This is not an Anthropologie that I usually go to, so maybe they'll have something a little bit different. And yeah, so I figured that's what we would do at lunch today and check it out. I kind of like this idea of doing the day-long vlogs because it makes for longer form content for you guys, but at the same time it also I just don't feel so rushed when I only have a set period of time. I don't know. Tell me what you guys think. I always want feedback from you all to make sure that kind of what I'm thinking is kind of in sync with what y'all think too. I'm also going to go by and see if any of the stores have the Orbe fragrance. Mine is going to be delivered today, but I am so freaking antsy. I really want to smell the new fragrance. I know that's me being like super impatient, but who cares? We're all impatient here and there. It's not that big of a deal. It is super hot outside, and I was looking at the weather for the next, God, stupid thing. I was looking at the weather for the next week, and by Thursday, I think, Thursday or Friday, it's going to get much cooler. So it's not going to be this like 95 degree weather that we've been having. Y'all know I don't care about the heat. I'm here for it, but I'm sure a lot of people will be happy for some cooler weather. I used to come over here when I first worked at MAC Cosmetics I came for basic and I would come for all the updates. They kind of switched out the locations a little bit during the years that I worked there. But I remember coming to my first basic, I was so nervous. And then by the time I went to the next update, I had a couple friends and I felt like, I was a little bit more, I wasn't the newest person there anymore. And it was just really cool. I used to always love coming to update because not only did we get to learn about the new products coming out, but we also were always sent home with gratis. And if you guys don't know or you've never worked in cosmetics, when you usually go to a training like that, they will give you some gratis to take home. So it'll be like the newest products of whatever the new launch is, spring or fall or whatever. All right, so let's go inside and see what they have. Okay guys, we're back. I'm gonna make this check-in a little quick because it's hot and I want to get back to my office. So either way, I didn't find anything in Anthropologie. We're again kind of in that season of the summer stuff has kind of come and gone, but fall stuff isn't really out yet. So that being said, I didn't find anything there. I did stop by Neiman's. I got a rollerball of the original Orbe fragrance, and I'm going to wear it the rest of the day. I've always been a little mixed on this, and I think I was let down because I really wanted it to smell exactly like the hair products do. But this isn't a bad fragrance. I just think it's a good way for me to kind of try it out again and see if it's something. Do I want to get the full bottle now that it's been repackaged? Or do I just want to stick with the one that I ended up buying? We'll see. Before I finish uploading this video, I will put an update for you guys, since by this time, it'll be at my house when I get home. I will put an update on the screen right here, whether or not the new Desertland is good or not, or if I'm undecided. Just in case you guys are interested in any of their fragrances, I think the Desertland, I have my hopes set really high because the reviews that I've seen online have said I like Desertland the most out of the 3 that they have now. I am going to check in with you guys when I leave work, so I will see you in just a sec. Hey guys. We start our final leg of this full day vlog. I saw some stuff today on TikTok actually, and my God, my heart just shattered for the people who have lost their homes, their vehicles. It doesn't even matter if you lost your home, just to have damage done or your car to be totaled because a tree fell on it or something. It's just so devastating to see that. So if any of you guys are located down south, please know you're in my thoughts. I can not fathom how scary that would be. And the flip side of that is people always want to be so fast to ridicule people who don't evacuate during a hurricane. Once the warnings come out, people want to jump on and say, oh, well, you need to get out of there, you're dumb for staying. No, that's BS, and I'll tell you why. There are a lot of people who do not have the financial means to evacuate. And typically, once you're in an area that should evacuate for safety precautions, the hotels are booked out. 3 states both ways. And in order to find a hotel and drive, say, 3 or 4 states over, then you're considering, is it going to be an affordable hotel, or is it going to be something that's like $200 a night, $150 a night? And if you're talking about going for 3 days or 4 days to stay out of harm's way, that's a really hefty bill. And also considering you're evacuating your family, so you're all piling in the car, a lot of times with pets, and you have to consider, okay, do we have enough money for gas to get to our destination and get out of harm's way? And then do we have enough money for groceries? Because if we're talking about a family that just paid for a hotel to get out of harm's way, we're probably not talking about a family that is going to lounge up in a hotel room and order room service every day. So there are so many different layers to this. It really is aggravating when I see people shaming others for not evacuating. There's just so many different things that come into play when you're talking about leaving your home to be out of the path of a storm. It's not just like, hey, let's jump in the car and, go kick our feet up in Arizona for a few days, or South Carolina, or, wherever it is that you can find an affordable hotel. So I don't only want to talk about that right now because it is very sad, but I did want to address it because I saw so much today, and at a certain point I just had to put my phone away because I was getting that's kind of one of those situations where you almost start to feel powerless because you don't have the answer to all of these people's problems. And I do my part to help out with organizations that do relief efforts for people that are stuck in bad situations like that. But the perfect answer would be get them all out of harm's way and save their homes and their cars. And that's just not a feasible solution, at least not one that I can offer. But either way, I had a really good afternoon, and it was quiet but productive at the same time. And those are always kind of relaxing ways to spend the afternoon when you feel like you can get some stuff done, but you're not super overwhelmed. But I'm also kind of still in the stage where I'm getting my feet off the ground, so to speak. So I'm not necessarily at the point where I'm full steam ahead and have a full plate, if that makes sense. There's always that kind of adjustment period. I don't know what we're gonna have for dinner. I usually buy those just because it's easy. Have you guys seen at the grocery store in the freezer aisle, P.F. Chang's makes dinner, their signature dishes in the freezer aisle. And I'll usually grab a couple of those just because you can make it with white rice and it's really quick and simple. Oh, by the way, I got a comment on my last Nikki Phillippi video, and I'm going to do a little bit more research on this before I come to you guys with a whole boatload of info and a solid opinion. But allegedly, a few years ago, they ran a giveaway on her channel where the giveaway winner would get to come to their house and make a video with them or with her. I don't know if it was guaranteed that Dan would be a part of the video or not, but I know that she was. Well, this girl won that giveaway, and she allegedly went out to their house. I think this is when they were still living in California. I could be wrong, but like I said, I want to do a little more digging first. But this is what I'm thinking. It was when they were still in California. The girl won the giveaway, and when the girl met Bowser was a gentle giant. She said, I'll throw up the comment right here so you guys can read it too. I'll just block out her name for now at least. So she said Bowser was super gentle, extremely sweet and nice, and evidently they were saying how, something along the lines of, he's reacting so well to you or something like that because he was just being so sweet. That, y'all already know how I feel about this whole situation. To hear that, and honestly, being totally transparent, I don't believe that this commenter would have a reason to just make that up out of left field. Because this was also back a few years ago when YouTubers would do that a little bit more often. Giveaways where they would meet the YouTuber. So I don't put it past them, and a lot of these YouTubers that are very thirsty for subscribers, it's the constant giveaways, it's the constant contests, and I could definitely see that being a fact. So again, I'm going to look into it a little bit more, but wow. I mean, I don't know. There is absolutely no reason why Nikki and Dan should have ever come onto their channel with that video. They should have never built this elaborate storyline around Bowser and his behavior. Like, how stupid are you? I think that gives me the answer to my question. How stupid are you to put out this elaborate story and the end result being your dog is put down, and you actually think that nobody's going to try to put two and two together and verify what really happened? Is that really what you thought? You were just going to spoon feed nonsense to YouTube and nobody was going to look into it. That is pure ignorance if I've ever seen it. It's either ignorance or arrogance, and it might be a little bit of both. But wow. So I ended up ordering some of my Bahama Mama bronzers because the balm was actually having a sale, 50% off, and they usually do this twice a year from what I've seen myself. And they don't have a ton of products that I love, but I have to say their bronzer formula is second to none. It's such a good matte bronzer. The shade of Bahama Mama is perfect. It's not too light, it's not too dark, it's not too warm, not too cool. Because in the past, I had tried to use a more traditional contour powder, and I never liked the way that it looked. I felt like no matter which contour palette or powder I would try, they were always way too cool. And to come up with a good contour powder, it doesn't have to literally look like ash. it just needs to pull a little cooler. Because if you have something that is extremely cool tone, then you're going to be left with someone who looks like they're not well. They're not healthy, if you know what I mean. You don't want to add too much of a sallowness to the skin with that gray undertone. You really don't need it to be super duper dramatic. I've seen so many brick and mortar stores closing, not just where I am, but further out too. It makes me really sad to think that someone worked for so long to be able to open a store of their own, no matter what the industry, whether it was a restaurant, a bakery, a retail store, a bridal shop, whatever, a beauty store, a florist. No matter what it is, just to think of someone who had this dream, made it a reality, and then had the panini just completely, blow their plan into a billion pieces. It really does make me sad. That's also the same reason why I've always tried to, especially when it comes to buying Axel stuff, I've talked about this for a long time, but I don't support the big box pet stores like Petco and PetSmart unless it's something specific that they have that nobody else does. I'll give you guys an example. Axel's retractable leash. The pet supply store that we usually go to had a retractable leash, but I think it was only 10 foot. And we like to have one that's longer. His current retractable leash, I think, is a 20 foot. That's the longest that I could find. And his store didn't have it. So I had to go to Petco. I really hate PetSmart so much. But I ended up going to Petco and buying it. And even though I did that, I still felt bad for spending my money there. What was it, like $24? It wasn't that much. But I would always rather support the small business that is, privately owned, even if they have more than one location. If it's a private owner and it's not a big box store, that's just what I feel good supporting. And it does seem like that is one really good thing that I've noticed is with pet supply stores, it does seem like there are a lot of small stores that you can pick from when it comes to wanting to support a small, individually owned pet supply business. I don't know if it's like that where you guys are too, but I do feel like there are usually options. I would love to, that would kind of be the best business if I was ever going to open a store or try to become a business owner. I would have half a store be pet supply stuff, and then the other half be like a skincare, like beauty boutique. How awesome would that be? You could like get treats for your dog and your favorite skincare products all in one place. I don't know how much of a good idea that is, but I'd be into it. That's definitely a really old school back there. I love, there is something very charming about old schools. It's funny because when I was in school, I hated the fact that my school was old, but now there's something so charming about that old school architecture, and you know, when they still have like the letters above the front doors. I'll try to find a picture to show you guys what I'm kind of talking about, but it's like a school that looks like it's in 1959. It's got those like metal letters above the door, and usually the doors are a bright blue or a bright red in color. That was one thing my dad used to do with me a lot, was we would go to schools on the weekend and I would ride my bike, and then we would like play on the playground and walk around the premises of the school. We would also take my dog, which we weren't necessarily supposed to do that, but you know, we took her everywhere that we possibly could. But we would just go explore, and I was always so entertained by being at a school, but not during school hours. And it wasn't even like the schools were abandoned or anything like that. They were just old schools, or schools in my area that you know, we would go to and hang out. We would like look in the doors, and everything was all empty. My dad is the best. He really, for not, you know, for, my dad spoiled me, but he spoiled me in different ways. Like one of the ways that he would always spoil me is he would always make sure that I got a beach trip in the summer every single year, and he would always make sure that I had a good Christmas. And you know, my birthday was good too, but birthday was always a little bit smaller. But he would make sure that my experiences were good. So it wasn't, you know, every Saturday we were up in Toys R Us buying a bunch of Barbies and dolls and toys and stuff. That wasn't it. It was, he always made it a point to make sure that I would have things to remember. And it worked, you know. Our trips to the beach, and I always remember Christmas with him. He would give me, this is funny, he would give me the Toys R Us Christmas catalog I think it would usually come in the mail late November, mid-November, something like that. And he would give it to me with a marker, and he would ask me to circle the toys that I wanted that year. And of course, he would always ask around, like, what's the hottest toy? Like, the year Furby came out, like, he found me a Furby somehow. You know, he did his best, and my childhood was not perfect, but what is a perfect childhood? What? You have every toy under the universe or under the sun, and you're what? Like, what else is a perfect childhood according to a child? I think that's pretty hard to come by. I always thought, you know, it's not, even as a young kid, I remember thinking this, it's not the toys that I'm going to remember. Sure, I had some cool toys and that was fun. But it's not the toys that I'm going to remember. It's everything else. It's the trips, the Christmas mornings, the Christmas Eves, the nights that we would just sit in the living room and he would play his, my dad has an amazing vinyl collection, and you know, we would listen to music and he would show me album covers and, you know, tell me about the band. And then we got to the point, I remember, where he would quiz me. So he would pull out an album cover that didn't have the band's name, and I would have to like guess who it was and guess one song from that album. And you know, those are the things that I remember. Those are the things. It was actually really funny though, speaking of toys. So I had a Stretch Armstrong, and I'm sure some of you guys had that toy as well. It was very popular. Well, one day I was in my bedroom and I decided that I wanted to see what was inside of Stretch Armstrong. So of course I cut his leg or his arm or something, and this oozing clear liquid started coming out of the toy. And I was like, oh shit, what am I gonna do now? It was a mess. So I literally threw the Stretch Armstrong in my closet in the bottom, and I left it there. And it stayed there for years. And I remember, you know, my freshman year of high school, we moved houses, and my dad found it. Either he found it or, you know, we both found it. Either way, it was discovered. And he was like, why didn't you just throw it in the trash? And I was like, well, I didn't want him to be mad at me for ruining one of my toys. But he ended up laughing about it. Like, really? You're going to cut up your toy and then throw it in your closet where it's continuing to ooze this liquid in the corner of the closet, and we're going to discover it, 9 years later, 10 years later, where it's all hardened on the carpet and stuff. It's just, I don't know. What a weirdo. So anyway, guys, I'm going to continue making my way home, and I don't know if I'm going to film today or not. I'm kind of tired, but I don't know. We'll see. But either way, thank you for hanging out with me today. This was fun, and I will definitely do these extended vlogs more often, as long as you guys like them. As long as you guys like them, I will definitely continue to do the longer form video. That's fine with me, especially when I don't really have a whole lot of something specific to talk about. But either way, yeah. So for now, if you like the video, please leave a like and a comment. And if you'd like to see more from me in the future, please subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.